Hello, everybody. This is Carson, and I am going to be talking about a little bit of concerning issues that some parents in the local area have talked to me about. I thought I would go ahead and create this presentation so as a little Kickstarter. So hopefully people will come out on October 1st, 2018 to our community event. Obviously, you guys can see here. There's a flyer, and it says Stop Cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is actually a real thing. It's very concerning across the world today. And quite a few parents in the local community have asked me to put on a presentation instructing what it is and what we can do about it, and some of the signs of what cyberbullying truly is and how it affects our society today. So if you're a parent, as you can see here on the flyer, it actually asks you, are you a parent? Obviously, if you're probably watching this, you have children. Maybe you know about cyberbullying, maybe you don't. The class is actually going to be intended for you and for parents. We may later, depending on attendance and everything, come up with a group setting to where we can talk about things further, but we're not going to get too far involved. Again, October 1st, 2018, if you can see on the flyer there at 7 p.m., we are going to go ahead and host this event. I'm very, very excited about it. Your child's probably been impacted by cyberbullying, but we're not going to get too deep into that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some slides here about really what cyberbullying is, how it affects us. I'm not going to go into too much detail just because there's a lot of good information in this, and I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to also take up too much of your time, so I appreciate you guys. Just hold off, and then I'll go ahead and teach you a little bit about what's going on. Only 20% of you guys probably even know that your child's actually being affected by cyberbullying. Out of you guys, just a fun fact here, I bet only 3.3% of you are actually being proactive about it. It is nothing against you as parents. It's very, very difficult to even know what cyberbullying was. And until I actually started delving very deep to actually become an expert in this, I too, there was a lot of stuff that I did not know. The class actually covers a lot of that, and that's what I'm excited about. I want to get you guys out there again. That is October 1st, 2018. So just so you know, repeat attendance is going to be highly critical. So if you know of anybody who's already attended the class, have them come back out because we'd like to actually get feedback about the information that we are giving and also how effective it is. So appreciate that, and let's go ahead and dive in here. So like I said, I'm not going to cover a whole lot of information about what cyberbullying is or what your kids may be affected by it, because that is covered in the class. This is just a synapse for you guys about what is cyberbullying exactly. So you can read this whole long definition. I'm going to summarize. Basically, your children use electronic devices much more than probably you or I. We're very used to using a cell phone, but they use computers on a daily basis for schoolwork and things. They have iPads, iPods, tablets of multiple kinds, cell phones. They use these devices in social media, and what it is basically bullying electronically. So with that being said, when children do that, there's a whole different level of negative results to other children. So cyberbullying is actually going to be talked about a little bit more in details in the class, obviously, but I just want to tell you guys who's typically affected. It's everybody. So without going into too much detail, on October 1st, 2018 is going to be hosted our first class. I really want you guys to attend out here. I want you to know that, adolescents are some of the most prone to this. So if you have younger children, you want to become proactive at this, because if you don't, what's going to happen is they may get, I don't want to say left behind, but you may not see these signs if you don't come out to the class. I'm going to teach you some of the signs of your child might be actually having some or might be being bullied out there. So let's talk about why children cyberbully. This is basically some of the only details. There might be a little bit more that I give you, but that you're going to get before this class. And it's going to be that much further ahead. But tell your friends and family, please, anybody who has children needs to come out. This is a huge concern across the nation and also across the world. Um, there's laws now being created about this. So it's much better to be ahead of the game than behind. So some of the reasons that children are bullying is because of entitlement. They see parents as a form of they're entitled. They want also that power. So children themselves appear superior to other children. So then they actually start trying to dominate those situations. We're going to talk about a little bit about how we can curb that and also what kind of approach we can actually do to realize that that's happening. Another thing is retaliation. We've all been on that playground, somebody else has won or something of that nature. And there's a little bit of resentment inside of us. Maybe you haven't felt that before, but I personally have. But basically, children were bullied or also they lost or something, and then they retaliate online instead of in person. That is cyberbullying. And most of that is because they do that because it seems safer. They're at home, probably not at school. Sometimes it's at school, sometimes it's not. But either way, that's a concern. We're going to approach that on October 1st of 2018. Come on out. I'm going to show you guys a little bit about that. Another way of doing that is called flaming. We each have children. They play video games. They get super upset. Maybe they don't. Okay? But either way, if your child does get upset, that is a form of cyberbullying because they can say harsh words to other players because they're in voice communications if you allow that in your household. Some don't, some do. I appreciate those who have already been proactive, limiting that resource if that's the case. We're going to talk about what you should and shouldn't be doing as far as that perspective. Another thing that I just want you guys to be aware of, I don't really communicate it too much in the presentation on October 1st of 2018, but it's called catfishing. This is where a child or an adult allures somebody romantically for a long time under a false persona. It's not covered a whole lot. It doesn't happen a huge number of times nowadays, but it is becoming more prevalent like it used to be before the 21st century. So parental acknowledgement is crucial. So you guys understanding, you as parents understanding that this is a concern is absolutely critical. Come on out, show your attendance, show us that you care about what's going on. Because the reason why, and I hinted on this earlier, is adolescents, they are in a super vulnerable state. Their minds are not developed and they do not know how to handle some of these situations. I'm going to dive, without spoiling too much, I'm going to go ahead and dive into a little bit about that on October 1st. By the way, if you guys don't come out, I'm not trying to be like, oh, this is going to be terrible for you or anything. I want to encourage you guys to come out because typically bullying leads to more bullying, unfortunately. Whether you're the bullyee or the bullier, it doesn't matter. So either case is actually shown. I'm going to show some case studies about who said that and why they said that, and then we're going to go ahead and dive into what's called group therapy. It's a form of healing as far as how parents and children can actually get together and help prevent this in the future and see signs about that. So I will also dive into where it takes place and who it kind of affects and who it doesn't, and some of those causes there. So I'm kind of excited again. October 1st, identifying signs. Whether your children are actually being affected or not, you'll be able to identify those signs after the class. I'm going to also talk about communication and teamwork to prevent it and what lawmakers are doing. Here's a fun fact. Since children are in a different development level than adults, they have different restrictions with laws. Don't know if you knew that or not. Also, schools are highly, highly involved. There was actually a principal, I believe, in 2009 who came up with FRED to combat cyberbullying. We're going to talk about that a little bit. I also want to let you know that this principal also encourages parents to come on out, get involved, because I told you here, 3.3% of current adults are actually proactively preventing or trying to prevent cyberbullying from happening. Other than that, guys, I greatly appreciate it. Hope you guys come on out. Let me know what you guys think. after October 1st of 2018. If you can't make it then, we're going to at least do it October 15th of 2018 and at least 4 other times on top of that. Thanks, guys.